Is the metaverse a damp squib, a firework that will never explode into life? I believe it can explode into life, although too often the virtual world of the metaverse is portrayed as a mundane and somewhat unsafe alternative to our more familiar physical world. In truth, the metaverse can offer untold advances in education, healthcare, and our lives at work and play. A potential world of games made real, where people's needs come first, and technology embraces the new only to the extent that it can satisfy these needs. The metaverse is a subject that arouses considerable controversy. I'm acutely aware of the high level of skepticism caused by any mention of the word metaverse. It's a subject that borders on sociology and ethics and is central to issues associated with digital health, big data and artificial intelligence. So there's much to be gained by bringing the metaverse to life. And in this process, we must avoid at all costs the unintended consequences of an approach driven by capitalist markets. Current skepticism towards the metaverse is well founded, which is why today I'm laying stress not on technology, but on defining the quality of a metaverse that can respond to people's environmental and physiological needs. These considerations have to come first in any serious attempt to construct a metaverse. My own conviction is that, as in our familiar physical world, we need to adopt a behavioural approach to metaverse design. People come first. So how do we start? I suggest that some recognition of Maslow's hierarchy of needs might put us on the right track. These include, at the lower level, physiological needs to sustain life and health and safety. And then, progressing up this pyramid of needs, we reach a point where people's desire to be treated with deference and respect becomes paramount. Current apprehension towards life in the metaverse stems from people's innate awareness that even at the most basic level, needs for safety, the metaverse fails. What I'm aiming to prove today is that the opposite can be true. People can expect to reach the top of Maslow's pyramid. But that's not all. The oncoming metaverse has so much more to offer. In a world facing climate catastrophe, we need to find a conjecture that provides a gleam of hope that the planet and its people have a future. The metaverse is just such a conjecture, an idea in the making for creating a revolution in energy use, and thereby radically reducing the amount of carbon and greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere. Those who have ignored or deplored the virtual world as being carbon heavy now recognize that it represents a pixelated escape from fragile earthly reality. The metaverse will continue to need many high-resolution pictures, which will boost considerably the amount of energy used by data centers and blockchain companies. But we can anticipate that by 2030, all these greedy high-energy requirements will be fed by green, clean, and renewable sources of electricity. The process has already started. Before long, the metaverse will take on a prime and vital role in reaching net zero. Not all will be new and unfamiliar in a future metaverse. For instance, digital twins providing virtual representations of buildings already are in use in today's world. With this concept in mind, I'm showing here a hypothetical case located in the City of London. It offers an approach to developing a site in the city as a hybrid, a symbiosis of virtual and physical space. You'll see here one building disappearing, as it becomes virtual. I describe this approach as building less is more, a policy of building less, which means gaining more, from a metaverse that can counteract the ravages of climate change. The metaverse as a driver of sustainability. In a world that is not on track to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement, the current route to zero carbon is set to fail by a very wide margin. The lower blue line shows where we are now, and the upper blue line shows what we're aiming to achieve by 2050. I'm showing, with the red line, the results of introducing a policy of building less is more, which, if replicated by cities worldwide, might just succeed in bringing us back on track. I'm anticipating that in the West, a 50-50 ratio is likely to be adopted by users who potentially might spend half their time in a virtual world and half in a physical world. The way of moving between the two worlds should be made seamless, with the possibility of gaining access through personal computers, portable devices, and TV screens. There's always the risk that access via headsets alone can be used to monetize entry to virtual worlds, as it happens at the moment. For this reason, interoperability and freedom of use must remain a key feature of metaverses. Only then can we ensure that life in a virtual world will be as good, in principle, as life outside. The metaverse needs to discard its current dystopian image, so as to become a place where people want to be, at least for part of the time. To achieve this 180-degree turnaround in people's perceptions, help is coming from an unexpected quarter. Neal Stephenson, the author responsible for inventing the term metaverse in his dystopian novel Snow Crash, sees the real-life metaverse, as opposed to his fictional creation, emerging as a kind of next-generation 3D internet, a deeply immersive means of communication where everything, including Stevenson's book, is in 3 dimensions. Many new categories of experience are to be expected from the metaverse as it develops. Here is just one idea, where you can be in a different place, perhaps fantastical, perhaps where you can assume a body that is far from human. To enable such ideas to become an immersive and 3-dimensional virtual reality, Neal Stephenson has set up a platform for providing creator support. It's called Lamina One, a platform which for the first time will enable new media artists and digital architects to bring their skills to bear on creating metaverses that meet the high expectations of users. But who should take charge of this process? Because, to say the least, it will be challenging. I'm suggesting that a new and relatively untried profession of metaverse curator will come into its own, a role that would extend the word curation to cover not only the content of a virtual world, but also its impact on people from a behavioral and physiological point of view. A new opportunity for EVA polymaths, maybe. Such ambitions will bring music to the ears of Jim Hemsley, who we all remember as one of the founders of EVA. He dreamt of just such an opportunity as long ago as 1990, and now, at last, it is here. For new media artists and digital architects, the opportunities on offer are legion. How appropriate it is, therefore, that we are discussing them here, in Florence. With some confidence, we can pin our hopes for planetary survival on a carbon-light metaverse, exerting ever more radical changes on our current carbon-heavy lifestyles. Even travel will be affected by innovative opportunities for enhancing life in the virtual world. Although I'd be the first to admit I don't want the metaverse to hinder my own physical presence at future EVA Florence conferences.